Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Wish You Were Beer Show. It's a live beer review show that we do every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, here on YouTube. You can also find us through Twitter and Facebook. It streams there live as well. But most importantly, if you're logged into YouTube, you can actually comment along with us. And since Vero is joining us on the show tonight, I need somebody to take care of the chat over there and really show up because Vero normally drives that ship.
I'm sure he's going to handle the chat.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. But thanks, everybody, for stopping by. As always, every week, I will cover the necessary obligatory bullshit of make sure you go to the About section here. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check us out on all the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're over 100.
Are we?
TikTok, yes.
Over 100.
Yeah, I paid a guy today to be the 101, but $3 well spent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
We do have our website listed down there below as well, wishyouwerebeershow.com. Make sure you swing through there. You can find all of our catalog of old episodes. You can find our schedule of upcoming episodes, what beers we're going to be having, so that hopefully you can find them as well. We also do have a live merch site, so go buy a shirt, buy us a beer. Do something that makes me feel like I'm not a worthless piece of shit, please. Please.
Please, Daniel.
Please.
It all goes right to Daniel's therapy, just so you know.
100%. 100%. That being said, as always, every week we're always grateful for everybody stopping by and hanging out with us and hopefully maybe learning one or two things about beer. That's always the goal for me.
Gabriel, don't act like you know what TikTok is.
I know. Yeah, no.
Gabriel has an Android. He doesn't know what TikTok is.
Oh my God. That's like having a Nokia.
The truth is out.
It's basically a Palm Pilot is what he has.
Even better.
It has a pen. It's probably like the size of a tablet.
Had a Palm Pilot. That's a throwback.
Carries it around in his cargo shorts.
Hey.
Word.
I'm not gonna hate on cargo shorts, man, because sometimes I gotta carry shit.
They're coming back. Did you see? They're like all the rage now.
I never stopped.
In the case of Daniel, they never left.
Correct. But listen, you go to a theme park and everyone's got car keys and phones and all. Not a problem. I'm gonna button them up in these side pockets. We'll go upside down 2 or 3 times. Guess who never gives a shit?
Of these
your shorts are doing this as you walk.
True story.
They look great with your soap shoes, though.
Oh God, you mean my Heelys?
Oh, you're a Heelys guy? I was a soap guy.
I had both of them. I'm just glad you found soap early in the game. Are we talking about the shoes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
I still have not found soap.
Proud of you, big guy. As always on the show, myself is Daniel. That's Phil. Tiffany's a little bit under the weather tonight, so Vero was kind enough to step in for us and come hang out with us and correct me on all my trivia. If you don't know Vero, you obviously haven't kept up on the show, which means you should watch a little more often. Vero does a lot of the back-end show work. She does a lot of blogs for us, provides us with a lot of the information. So always good to have you on camera and to get to hear that lovely foreign accent of yours.
I don't have an accent.
God, you could not have said that any
Do not
worse.
make me mad because we are going to start like this and this is not going to go well.
This is exactly where we start, and I'm so comfortable with it. Now, that being said, Vero, I feel like I haven't seen you in person in a while. You've been doing okay?
I've been doing great. Actually, yeah, I realized that I was on the show when I got in. I still have the 3 stars from the World Cup. So that's when you saw me the last time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Show or something because I had 3 stars on next to my name.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, everything is good. It's been a quiet beginning of the year and now it's crazy at the United Nations. So it's been a trip lately. But
That makes sense.
everything is fine. We haven't had any snow.
That's good.
No snow in New York at all.
Nothing. We just had like 3 flurries, and that's it.
Yeah,
So-
I've had so much snow here in St. Martin.
Oh,
It's been
fuck you.
wild. because there's a music festival happening here, so there's a lot of snow around.
Oh, I was gonna say yes. Snow in St. Martin falls pretty regularly. I get it.
Yeah, we are having we have the St. Martin Music Festival happening right now. We just had the regatta, which I was talking about last week. We had the
We
Heineken
know,
regatta.
Phil. We saw the pictures.
Not everyone did. Not everyone follows my Insta.
Ugh,
They should though.
they
They-
should.
But yeah, so we had the Heineken regatta. I was telling you last week that I was going on like the media boat for the Heineken regatta.
Yeah.
So I got out on a boat. That was a trip. There was festivals at night. It was crazy. And then right after that, for some crazy ass reason, they planned the St. Martin Music Festival. And it's 4 days of just house music on a beach. There's this like super like private beach out. It's just like a nothing beach, and they put a huge stage out there, and people are here now for 4 days. And it's really funny because, like, you know, it's a small island, so you kind of know everyone around the island. You kind of know the vibe. Like, everyone kind of has a look about them if you live here.
Sure.
But then these music festival people come rolling in, and it's just like you're like trying to like buy something at the bakery, and there's like just people in like Burning Man outfits, like it's just like, what is going on here?
I'm with Kevin. This sounds like hell.
The craziest thing is, so I'll stop talking about this festival in a second, but it's just been a wild run for the past day. Last night, so there's this one DJ who apparently I'm supposed to know named Black Coffee. Everyone
You don't
goes
know
crazy.
Black Coffee?
I don't know Black Coffee.
Really?
Yeah,
You
no.
know?
I don't follow this music at all. So everyone's like, oh, Black Coffee tonight. And I was like, tonight? You mean tomorrow morning? He went on at 3 a.m.
That's a great story, Grandpa.
Yeah, this is the
When was the
oldest
last time
thing
either
I've
of you were
ever
up
heard.
at 3 a.m. to go? So people are on this beach from 3 to 5 a.m. last night or this morning watching this guy perform.
Oh, then black coffee makes sense.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes good sense now. Yeah.
So this is 4 days long of this, that people will be out there till 6 in the morning listening to music. Like, and everyone's like, oh, you're not going? You cover everything there. And I'm like, no.
Bro, no thank you. It's not a 98 degrees concert.
Well,
Hell
I'd
no,
be
I'm
at
not
3 a.m. I'd be there for that.
I mean, it's probably 98 degrees.
Well, yeah, fair. Temperature-wise, it
Fair.
is, but
I mean, if it's BSB, I'm definitely there. But
hotter if Nick Lachey was there. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. And I agree with Gabriel. Please tell me Black Coffee's a white dude.
I gotta crack open this beer.
Yeah. Tiffany, who couldn't join us, hit the nail on the head. Sounds like a great opportunity for a rude boy.
You know what? I almost got one. It is the perfect chance. You drink, and well, let me tell you, not a lot of people are drinking at this festival.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta stay hydrated.
There's only one other way to stay awake that late.
True story. I assume it's cocaine.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No,
fine.
it's mostly like probably more like the Molly and that sort of. Is that what the kids call it?
Yeah.
Molly
Yeah.
Jean.
I don't know. We'll save that for like our Friday drug podcast, where two people who don't do drugs well try to figure out what drugs are.
The closest the two of you are to drugs is because you watch Narcos because of Pedro Pascal. That is
That's
the
fair.
closest.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I just watch it on mute.
I'll watch anything that son of a bitch is on. You ain't hurt my feelings.
But
Right.
I am drinking a Red Stripe tonight because
Nice.
I saw it and I was like, yes, there we go.
I stuck with like a mid-range, what I consider to be a palate cleanser, because I want to make sure that I enjoy this beer. So I'm just having a good old Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
One of
Classic.
his favorite. I'm having a hot water.
Ah, nice. I love hot water.
This is very good, actually.
Yeah. All right. So, of course, if you keep up with us throughout the social medias or even here on YouTube or anywhere else, yesterday was International Women's Day, which is always an exciting day. Obviously, our show fell a day later, but we decided that we're going to celebrate International Women's Day today here on the show with friends. So we are doing a female-owned and brewed beer tonight on the show, and we've also asked a couple of friends of ours throughout the industry to stop by and kind of tell us about their experiences and hang out with us for a little bit, which is always exciting for me because I get the chance to talk to a couple of friends of mine, but also just female ambassadors in the industry as well, and kind of hear where they come from and why they do what they do, which is always exciting. So we're going to have two different guests on tonight. I would like to introduce Rachel Howard, assuming she's ready. So Rachel's a good friend of ours, both of the show and personally. She used to brew or was the head brewer at Ouzelfinch Brewery down here in Hampton, and great person. And I can't wait to hear what she's up to now. So let's bring Rachel in.
All right.
Rachel.
I'm here.
I'm here live. I'm not a cat. So as mentioned, Rachel, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And like I mentioned in the intro for you, so you were a head brewer at Ouzelfinch. How many years were you the head brewer there?
Three, yeah. I think so.
And were you brewing prior to that as well?
Not anywhere else. So I started with Ouzelfinch the year I graduated college. Spent 3 years just like kind of building out my knowledge on beer.
Nice.
And then took over head brewer. Stayed there for about 3 years as a head brewer, and yeah. So,
now, what's your college background in?
Studied chemistry as my major, and then did a math minor and a leadership minor.
So you're not good at English?
No.
Okay, perfect. Good to know.
No.
That does seem like the correct thing to study, though, for beer, right? I mean,
Yeah.
all of those things are really a part of it.
Yeah, bio would have helped a little bit, but chemistry was definitely helpful.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so now you've moved on from Ouzelfinch, and I know you're with the Fifth Ingredient now.
Mm-hmm.
But can you tell us a little bit about the Fifth Ingredient, what you're doing there, kind of what your role is?
Yeah. So Fifth Ingredient is a brewery management software. So we essentially take all of the good stuff that the brewery makes, and we manage all of the data associated with that. And then, essentially kind of control like the boring parts that the brewers don't want to deal with. There's the 4 ingredients in beer, grain, hops, water, and yeast. And then we are the 5th ingredient.
God, I'm so glad you answered that without Vero asking, because Vero was like, what are the 4 other ingredients?
I was missing the malt. The malt was the one that I was missing. I was like, water, hops, yeast.
Ah,
Vero, it makes me feel great because like you're the smart one of the group, and the fact that you didn't know it made me feel so much better about myself.
Yeah. So now, obviously, Rachel, it's International Women's Day yesterday, and we have some trivia coming up later about women in this industry specifically. Mm-hmm. Is this so coming out of college and coming out of what you went to college for? Did this industry draw you because of the beer, the science? Did you want to be somewhat of maybe even a pioneer in that aspect, knowing that there's not a lot of women in that industry?
Yeah, I never really thought about it like in that aspect, like not being a lot of women in the industry. It's not something I realized when I first started getting into it. I knew I wanted to study STEM, like anything in the STEM field. I'd always been passionate about it from high school. And then when I went to college, I knew what I wanted to major in, but didn't necessarily know like what I wanted to do with it. So kind of went through like a plethora of different, professional career choices that I just didn't fall in love with. And then my senior year, my dad got me an internship at a brewery up in the Nova area. And it just combined like love of STEM and then also kind of like my creative side of my brain. And I just immediately like kind of fell in love with being able to have the best of both worlds and make a really cool product. And I just met so many awesome people in the industry in like my first couple of years. So just took off.
Nice.
Wow. And I'm sorry to bring you back to the Ouzelfinch story, but I have to ask because Ouzelfinch is they were so heavy on those fruited smoothie beers. Did that appeal to you, or is that more of like, was that a huge challenge to do that sort of thing? Or I mean, I guess I want to know, like, were you like, oh, I want to make these beers, or are those things a pain in the ass to make?
Yes. Yeah. So, the owner of Ouzel Finch was super into the beers and really enjoyed the flavor profiles of them and just like kind of testing the limits of what we could do with beer. I didn't necessarily like drinking them, and making them proved to be quite a bit of a challenge, especially at first when we didn't deal with a lot of the fruit additions. So we adopted some, procedures along the way that made things a lot easier. But adding 55 gallons worth of fruit puree is never the most fun thing you can do. Yeah.
They were creative, at least.
Yeah, got to work with lots of different ingredients, and honestly, we did a lot of like spice and fruit combinations at one point, which was really intriguing to me. It kind of felt like baking or even cooking sometimes. Like we used rosemary, I think we used basil in a beer. So just kind of combining those like weird ingredients with other like fruity flavors that people might enjoy a little bit more was kind of fun. So.
And then after Ouzel Finch, were you like super thrilled to go into Nost and do some like beer?
Yes. Resounding yes. Yeah. Starting Nost was an awesome experience, and I was really thankful for it. Definitely got to the point where I needed some like, just generic Pilsner in my life. There, my favorite beer is a Czech dark lager, so we got to brew one of those, and really just taking it back to like the basics and kind of why I fell in love with beer and why the owner fell in love with beer, and just kind of bringing that back to the forefront for people. So. Yeah,
that Czech dark lager you did was so good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everywhere.
I appreciate it.
I have a few notes about it, but I digress.
Let me hear them. Come on.
No, no.
Daniel's like, why doesn't this taste like apple cinnamon pie? I don't understand.
Yeah, like a chocolate salad or something.
So now, how is it? It's interesting to me because the transition from heavy production day to day to now you work remotely from home with the fifth ingredient. I'm sure you're traveling quite a bit more. How has that transition been? Like, what are the pros and cons of it for you?
Yeah, it's been super interesting. I don't have any regrets. I mean, I do miss like physically being on the production floor and brewing a beer. That was always my favorite part of it. The last year I was there, I was kind of more in like an admin role, and I had a full production team who were cranking out the good stuff. So I fully depended on them to do that. So when I kind of moved roles, I didn't really change like what I was doing day to day. I was still doing like computer-based stuff, but not being able to like hop on the floor and, dry hop a beer or taste a beer or, brew something. I definitely miss it. But advantages, I love working for the Fifth Ingredient. It's an amazing company, and I get to chat with different breweries every day. So like learning about their process and trying to kind of help them apply their process to the software and help them better utilize it has been like a challenging but super fun thing for me to do. And I get to spend a lot more time with like my family and my dog, who sits next to me every day. He's right there. He loves it. So it's been good.
Do you find that working on the floor brewing beers before has given you an advantage to this job that you're doing now?
Absolutely. And when I was with Ouzel Finch, we used the program I'm with now. So, I had that background knowledge of using it as a customer, and now being on the other end and helping other customers guide them through it has definitely been helpful as far as that transition goes, and just kind of knowing what they're doing every day and relating to them being on the floor and needing certain things has been good. So
Andrew would like to know what the dog's name is.
That's Harley. He's sleeping, but his name's Harley.
A lot of hard-hitting questions from the constituency here.
Yeah.
We know our priorities here.
Correct.
Very
Beer,
Yep.
dogs. Yeah.
Now, Rachel, you keep talking about software, and beer and software to me are two, like, I'm just kind of confused. Can you dumb it down what the fifth ingredient does? Like, just dumb it down for me.
I got you. Yeah, so we're a web-based platform. So like you sign in, you search a web browser, and our
Rachel, what is a web browser?
Shut up.
Let me break it down for you.
Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so breweries will log in, and it essentially manages everything for them on the brew floor, from raw material inventory, cost of goods, all of their brew process data, fermentation data, packaging, finished goods inventory. It'll move those finished goods through distro so you can track your sales orders and your revenue. And then it even goes so far as to merge your accounting with your Beer 30 platform. So anytime you make a sale, it's going to translate over to your accounting software. So it's like a super all-inclusive kind of one-stop shop for both your production team, your back of house team, and like upper level management.
cool.
I love
This
it.
sounds very similar. So I work in vacation rentals. I know
It doesn't work on
this is-
Android, Gabriel.
Nothing works.
iPhone only.
I just want to quickly say, like, so I work in vacation rentals. I know this seems like my full-time job with how high this production value is, but we have property management system, which is basically what you're saying in the same sense of, like, we have the software that kind of organizes it all for us. And my biggest complaint to them always is, like, I don't think anyone who works there actually ever worked in the business. So I'm sure people are pretty thrilled when they talk to someone who actually gets it. Like,
Yeah. And actually everyone on our like customer experience team has had experience in brewing. So like our other CX specialist, Dave, he ran a brewery in Alaska for, I don't know, 10 or 12 years. And our head of CX, Gabby, is like an avid home brewer and has been a part of the Pink Boot Society in Las Vegas for years. So we all kind of get it. And it definitely makes communicating with the customer a lot easier because we feel for them, and then they know that on our side, like, we understand their problems and all that.
Did you get to change something that annoyed you as a customer in the program?
We're working on it. Yeah. It's
Like,
super cool.
now I have the power. I'm gonna change.
Yeah, and we take customer feedback like to heart. So anytime a customer messages in and is like, this would be really helpful if you could adjust it this way, or add in a feature here, like, we create all those feature requests, and our engineers on the backside are just constantly putting out improvements. So it's really exciting to see that.
I dig it.
Yeah.
very cool.
All right, well, Rachel, we are 23 minutes in, which means I've kept you 3 minutes longer than I promised you.
We've just been having such a good time.
Oh, you don't have to lie about it. It's okay.
Look, Harley is on a strict schedule. She's
Yeah.
ready to go.
Harley,
He's
I
already
assume
ate. Yeah,
have to
he's good.
pee, poop, eat 3 more times, and snuggle. So
Yeah, snuggling is our last to do for the day. So
nice.
he's ready.
Well, honestly, I'm excited for you to see your transition and moving in with the fifth ingredient and where you're going to go from there, because I enjoyed a lot of our time together at Ouzel Finch, and I enjoyed a lot of that process. So I'm always happy to see people stay within the industry, but take on a different facet of it. So I applaud you for being brave enough to do that, because was probably pretty scary initially.
It was.
Yeah.
And Rachel, if you do decide to ever start, brewing in your garage, let us know, because I missed your beers already. So it'd be great to have them again.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds great. We can do a little garage collab.
Yes.
With your beer. Ray.
Don't say
garage
that. We'll
collab.
jump all over that.
That sounds like a dangerous collaboration, but yes, I am for it.
Also, hi, Flame and Pie. I miss you too.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, and real quick,
Little shout
also,
out.
Kevin wants to know what you're drinking currently.
Ooh, good question. So I've been saving this one. It is a Big Alice
Big
mixed
Alice.
fermentation.
Okay.
So all New York ingredients. I can't remember the name of it, of course, and I don't have the bottle with me, but all New York local ingredients. And then they used a yeast strain that they got off of figs. So it's been really
Nice. I love mixed fermentations, so
Yes.
please enjoy that.
good.
Well, cheers, Rachel. I really appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great. It's been great to see you all.
Absolutely. Let's catch up soon. We'll grab a beer. We'll come see you on that side of the water, and you can show us a brewery that we don't know anything about.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Hey,
All
cheers,
right.
Rachel. Have a good night.
Bye.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.
I
All
like
right.
that.
What do you say?
I'm
I
excited
never
for
thought
it,
she
but
was tiny.
I'm excited for it. But I'm gonna miss those beers.
Yeah, I think we're gonna survive. I mean, we'll make it. I'll find beer. I will drink beer.
I don't know if I will.
I will have beer. So if you're just joining us, again, we're in the process of celebrating International Women's Day, which was yesterday. So we're doing an all-female beer tonight. That is made by a female brewery and female brewed. We just had our good friend Rachel on from the Fifth Ingredient. We have another guest coming up later on the show as well, who's a good friend of ours that I'm looking forward to chatting with as well, because I never see her in person anymore. But in the meantime, I would like to get into the beer that we're actually going to have tonight.
Let
me find it.
I got it.
Okay. So tonight we are doing Persian Blue. It's from Back Home Brewing, or Back Home Beer, which is a lager with blue salt. I'm excited for this beer. I assume that Phil has put together just an amazing stock image.
Oh yeah.
Search video.
It's got breweries. It's got photos from all over. None of them are from Back Home Beer though, because that's how I roll.
I love it. Let's
but
see
yeah.
it. Roll it. I dig it. Honestly, I was whatever that music was, wherever that came from.
Oh yeah, wrote it myself.
God, I wish we'd be making a lot more money if you wrote music like that yourself. So again, this Back Home Brewing, which I'm excited for. I like this story. I like the history of where this comes from. So I'm excited to get into this. We do have another guest on later in the show, so we are going to do some history and facts. It's going to be a little bit of an abridged version, but let's history. And again, if you're unfamiliar with the show, history and facts is basically what we consider to be trivia. We'll just never get rid of that sound clip because it sounds too much like Busch Gardens here, and I love it. So it lives forever. And y'all can go fuck yourselves about it. I don't care. All right. Let's do question one. And again, if you're logged in through YouTube, you can comment along with us as well, or through Facebook. So if you would like to play ball with us and give us your answers, you're more than welcome to, and we will remind you that you're wrong. All right. So true or false? Back Home Beer is a one-woman show who contract brews at other locations. Which, if you haven't seen the show very much or don't know a lot about the beer industry, contract brewing is where you go brew at other people's sites because you don't have a physical brick and mortar or the financials to do it yourself.
It's definitely becoming more popular. You see, even like there's breweries that this is all they do. So it's not even a brewery. You're just kind of renting the equipment out, which I think is a really cool concept that I like seeing, that, you know, it kind of allows people to dip their toe in the industry. And
well, and I remember there was an advertisement on the radio like a few years ago that was doing the same thing for working on your car. Like, hey, we have a shop, we have the lift, we have the tools. You just bring your car in here and you pay a flat rate to work on your car all day. I'm like,
Great concept.
kind of the same idea.
Yeah. So everyone coming in right now is coming in hot on that true. And
Coming in hot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going with true on this one based off of what I kind of already know, based off the fact that we showed a photo of what I assume is the one woman show. And yeah, I love that. I want this to be true too, because I just find it so awesome that just doing it yourself all in like that sounds so cool.
Yeah.
I'm going with true.
Fair enough.
Well, Vera, of course. That's why you answered last, because we know you know the answer.
Yeah, thank you for answering last, Vero, so that people in the comments have time to either be wrong or right. But
let the record show that Tiffany did this trivia, not me.
Oh, well, too bad, because I'm about to give you all the information on it. No, so it is true. So it is a one-woman show. She does contract brew. And it was funny because we reached out to her through Instagram. Probably the person that we've reached out to who got back to me the quickest on Instagram. Like literally like 10 minutes after reaching out to her was like, like I can't. Like I have previous engagements. And so unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize she was a one-woman show. So I asked her, I was like, hey, well, you know, we've had everybody from front of the house, brewers, taproom managers. Yeah. And she was like, well, it's just me. I was like, oh.
I am all.
This is why I should do my research first.
Well, I mean, you can't fault me for blind reaching out, but it was a funny interaction, and I enjoyed the fact she was just like, it's a one-woman show. So if I can't make it, nobody can make it. So yeah, and Zahra, who is the founder of Back Home Beer, she's a first-generation Iranian American, so already a female in the industry who's doing it all on her own, and B, just comes from a portion of the world, and her family historically comes from a portion of the world where this is probably not something that's really highly touted. So super cool, and I think we get into some of that here shortly. Question 2.
Here we go.
All right, so Persian Blue salt is rich in what minerals? Select all that apply. Could be more than one. Potassium, magnesium, iron, and calcium.
Ooh. Geez. I mean, I feel like I feel like I don't know anything. So
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this thing where I pretend like I'm thinking through my schooling and I'm thinking of the element chart and yes. I'm just gonna go with all.
Okay.
Am I allowed to play?
Not yet. Now. You wait.
Oh yeah, I gotta wait to see who else thinks.
So, Flame and Pie, there is no M or G. It's only A, B, C, or... Oh, wait, magnesium. I see you. Okay. Okay. Gabriel says B and D. Andrew says this might be the toughest question ever, and that's fair. A and D. A and D. Tiffany, you don't count. I'm not going to put your responses in because you know the answers. Okay, so we got a lot of B and D and A and C. Vera, what do you think?
I am going mostly with potassium because
I love those bananas.
Potassium's
in bananas, right?
I think bananas.
Potassium's in bananas, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Jesus, I don't eat a lot of bananas, so that was scary for me. All right.
You just like looking at them.
Nah. I'm more
of a plantain guy. Huh?
More of a plantain guy. All right. So Tiffany is correct. It is all of them. And
we got it right.
We pulled the little bar up earlier, but it is found in a very specific area that was historically Persia. Hence, obviously, the name of it, the Persian Blue salt. But it is very rare. Its characteristic shade comes from a sylvite, which is a potassium mineral, but it also brings benefits to the blood circulatory system. It strengthens the heart, stabilizes blood pressure, and helps digestion. It's salty, it's spicy in flavor. But it is also
beer is healthy.
That's what I always say.
Yeah.
But it is also, so it's rich in magnesium, iron, calcium, and potassium, which kind of makes it the quadruple threat there. But this is interesting too, though, because in doing some of the research about Zahra and about her background and where she comes from, her grandfather actually brewed beer originally and prior to the Iranian Revolution, where nowadays beer and alcohol and spirits in general is historically frowned upon. So Zahra spent a lot of time brewing, like we said, kind of in a garage and at home and trying to figure out a lot of the things that her grandfather was doing that she couldn't just source it out. So when she was in the process of making a lot of these beers, she was asking family members, grandmothers, aunts, people like this to try this and see if it was anything close to, and trying to refine it and trying to figure out the ingredients and basically taught herself how to brew, which is nuts to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. And it all leads back to the name of the beer, which now I fully understand, and just really, really cool story.
Yeah, it's really neat. And when you think about, so like talking to Rachel earlier, somebody comes from a chemistry background, somebody does this, like that's a hop, skip, and a jump to be able to brew to beer and to go to that world. But to just go like beer. I think my grandfather had some of those. Let's figure that out. Yeah, and then figure out production and figure out how to get your beer out there. Like it's such a crazy, her entire story, which I encourage you to go look up. Just Google back home beer and go through the actual history of where it comes from is phenomenal.
Yeah, and also from a country that it's one of the harshest countries with it in relation to women's rights.
Yep.
And also alcohol is forbidden either to drink or to produce in Iran. Yep. So it's
and sometimes by the penalty of death, which is nuts.
Yeah. And if you're a woman, it's even worse. I mean, if
100%.
you're a woman and you're drinking a beer, there you go. You're being stoned to death, probably.
Jesus.
Wow. Okay.
Let's get into question 3.
We still need March 8th.
All right. So true or false? Zahra, I'm not going to attempt your last name, and I apologize without what? Say it again.
Tabatabai.
Okay. Zahra, I'm not going to attempt your last name, but she works closely with charities bringing women into the brewing industry.
I mean,
true or false?
This seems like a weird thing if it was false. Because be like, nope, she doesn't know charity work. Seems like a weird concept, but unless there's some trickery in where she do, but I mean, this seems true to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seems true to me too.
Will somebody pull up the comment sections? What is everybody else saying?
Let's see. What, are you busy over there?
I am busy. Yes.
All right. Andrew saying true. Scott saying true. Katie says whatever, F women.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Your daughter's going to be just fine.
Do not mess with the ambassador.
All right. So I feel like this is kind of a tricky question here.
Of course, you wrote it.
I know. I know.
I don't have the true false shirt up, so I can't show it. But if you want to see our true false shirt, then hit up wishyouwerebeershow.com.
So again, I'm going off of Tiffany's trivia, but historically, Zahra works pretty closely with the East Village Loves New York City, which is a program to bring like hearty and healthy meals to New Yorkers and undeserving communities. So they raise a lot of money, a lot of awareness. A portion of each case of the back home beer goes to this charity, and then 100% of the proceeds from the charity go back into the community. Here's the thing. I think this question is false, only because bringing women into the brewing industry.
No, it doesn't say works only with charities. She does work with Israeli, and she does refugees.
And yes, Tiffany, I did say that incorrectly. Thank you. I would love for you to watch the show
but
more.
She's gonna be Grammar Beach on the chat.
I told you I needed someone to do that since you're not there, so that is fine. Now, granted, I'm sure that she works closely within the brewing industry as well, but historically, her bigger charity is with the East Village Loves New York City, which is providing meals.
Yeah. And I read also that she's working now with refugees that are arriving in the city.
Correct, 100%. Which it goes back to kind of that same entire culture of, back home beer. Like, so if your family was a refugee to begin with, how do you support people within that community?
Yeah.
So again, if you have any time and can go find her story online, it's wildly crazy. The amount of things that she's been able to pull off within the beer industry, within her own community, within her own family, within her family's country. She's all over the place, and it's amazing.
Very, very cool. All right. We got another one.
Do we?
We do. I hope so.
I don't recall that. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So what percentage of brewers are women? 5, 11, 22, or 29?
You know what? I feel like we did this question last time we celebrated women on our show, and
well, it would have changed since then.
I would hope so. That's what I guess that's what I'm getting at. Is like, I remember last time I was like, I wanted it to be the higher numbers, but I was like, I know it's not, and it
hasn't changed much actually. But
I think it was because it's brewers.
Correct.
Brewers, not
I know.
own breweries.
Correct.
I'm with Gabriel and Andrew here, where I want it to be 11 because I remember I think last time it was 5. So I'm trying to remember.
I think it was 11. I think it was 11.
Was it? Okay, that's better than I can imagine. But
when we talk about the brewers,
yeah, crazy low.
Women owned are a different animal.
Correct. Just brewers.
All right. Let's go with 11 then.
All right. What do you think, Vero?
Yeah, I think it's 11.
Okay. So it is actually 11. Well done. Well done, you two. Nice. So like historically, so that number came from late 2022. So like end of November, early December was when that poll was put out. And I think it was a hair lower when we had that stat on last year, but statistically it's funny because when you look at the growth patterns of it within the popularity of the brewing industry in general, it started out obviously extremely low, and then it made this huge jump in like 2019, 2020 timeframe, and now it's kind of lulled off a little bit. So like from last year or a year and a half ago until they did that stat, it's only like a 0.5% increase, even though it jumped like 5% 1 year in 2019. So it's kind of interesting. I'd love to dive further into why and what that meant, but that's our statistics show, and that's in the morning. And I hate it, and it's my least favorite show. But yes, 100%. We do need more women brewers.
Yeah, and let's point out that not only is a minority as a woman.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The brewer is she's a woman of color.
Yep. Well, and it's funny because when I was looking at the woman brewery percentages or brewer percentages, it continued to break things down further of now which ones are, ethnically like background, which ones are this, which ones, and it was like, holy shit, like the numbers were just all over the place, and ugh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for trivia.
Good, I guess.
Yeah.
God, I hate being questioned on my own show. Like, do you know this? I'm like, fuck off. All right. So, if you watch the show historically, we normally would have already cracked the beer through trivia, but we have another guest getting ready to join us. So as we talk to our next guest, we are going to be cracking open and taking a sip and getting a full flavor profile of Persian Blue from Back Home Brew. So Back Home Beer. It's like the fourth time I've said her damn name wrong, and I apologize. But as we talk to our next guest, we're going to be having this beer and sipping on it so that we can give it a review after we get done talking to another good friend of ours. So I assume that Courtney is ready to roll because she told me that she was fully invested and she's been watching the whole show anyway.
Well, she just gave us a thumbs up, so let's bring her
that
in.
was a middle finger. Oh, no. Okay, bring her in. Bring her in anyway.
Yeah, we expect two middle fingers.
No, the middle finger was earlier. Got the thumbs up this time.
Courtney, how are you?
Hello, friends.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having me on here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for stopping by.
And thank you for showing us that wonderful artwork behind you. Those
I love it.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you. I have a bit of a thing for owls. That's an owl picture too. So
Nice.
yeah, my husband loves it. He loves my owl wall.
My owl wall. That's actually the name of my sex tape.
Oh my god!
No.
It's got to come down now. It's got to come down. Okay, that did it.
So for those of you who don't know Courtney, Courtney's a longtime friend of Tiffany and I's, and she works for Virginia Beer Company. And if you have ever seen our show, we spend a lot of time there. We've had Michael on in the past as well. We brewed a beer with Virginia Beer Company, hence the T-shirt. So yes, Courtney, tell everybody what you do for Virginia Beer Company.
So currently I am the field sales rep for Hampton Roads for Virginia Beer Company. I'm in my, third year doing that, which is wild. It's been a ride. I started training for this job smack dab in the middle of 2020. So it was constant pivoting, just like that Friends episode. I was just carrying that couch down the stairs for a year and a half.
We all have that image.
Everybody knows what I talk about when I bring that up. Like, I don't even have to say the word. But yeah, so that's what I currently do for them, and it's been really fun. It definitely has pushed me outside of my comfort zone a lot. Thank you, Michael Rhodes.
He's good for pushing people out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Now, Courtney, for people who need things dumbed down, tell me a little bit about the position that you have, and like if someone wanted to get into the beer industry and couldn't quite find where they wanted to go, would this be a position? Who would it be for? Like, what's the skill set behind it all? Like, what is the role exactly?
Yeah. So you can kind of come at it from two different angles. You can either be familiar with sales or be familiar with beer, but you kind of need to be familiar with one or the other in order to at least get into a sales role right off the bat. My experience has been a little bit different. I've been in the restaurant industry ever since I was 17. I'm 34 now. And then when I started at Virginia Beer Company, I didn't know anything about beer. The craft beer boom was really kind of just getting started in Virginia when I moved back. And so I really had an education. I started out as a beer tender, moved my way up into taproom management, and then made the jump into sales. So the skill set is really, if you can sell yourself, you can sell the beer. Because if a lot of people out there have a great product, but if you're not going in there and making connections with buyers and being able to really hold a conversation and talk confidently, then you're kind of dead in the water right there. These buyers, they see beer reps, day in, day out. You guys know how saturated the beer market is just in Virginia. And then, not even to talk about like just South Side, like Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake. I mean, they've got their pick of whatever they want. So it's really about being able to go in and form those connections in the same way that a bartender makes regulars, which that was sort of the way that I had to wrap my head around it first getting into it. Because, when you're a bartender, it's like, I know the people coming in want my product because they're here. I don't know that buyer that I'm walking into at the restaurant is going to give a crap about me. So there's a little bit of a, I don't know, insecurity there, I guess, but it really is the same basic principle. Just the way you make regulars, that's the way you create relationships with buyers.
That's interesting though, because I imagine there was probably at least a little bit of a confidence jump. Again, I know you, so I would imagine. I think there was a confidence jump between that understanding that the regulars here come here because they want something, but I need to make new regulars with the beer that we produce.
Right.
Like that's got to be a weird confidence jump.
It is a confidence jump. It's also kind of a confidence hit in a lot of ways because you get told no. I mean, you get told no a lot. I mean, for every 10 accounts that you go into, 9 of them are probably no's. Yeah. 9 of them you have to go back to 3, 4, and 5 times, and you have to have that tenacity to keep going in and not take it personally. So that was a huge learning curve for me to sort of remove my own, like, I don't know. It's not that they don't like me necessarily or they don't like my brand. It's just this is not the right time. Yep. So pick yourself up, dust yourself off, come back later, keep the smile on your face. So there is. I mean, when you make a sale, I'm feeling good. I'm high. But then when you hit that brick wall, it's like, all right, I'm gonna sit here, take a deep breath, and then move on. So it's not easy, but it's definitely a lot of fun. You meet people from all walks of life, and it's really a good time.
Yeah, I was gonna say it because I never see you anymore, like I joked about earlier.
I know.
I think I see Paul more than I see you. Which is
that probably tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks. Yeah. So now, how did jumping into the sales world versus being tap room? Mm-hmm. Just like we talked about with Rachel earlier, what effect did that have on your personal life? Because obviously hours are different. Mm-hmm. Tap room, you're going to be there while it's open. You're going to be dealing with customers. Sales, you work the same hours every day.
It is, again, it's that Friends episode. I mean, and I know it sounds cliche, but you can map out your plan for the week, and on Tuesday, your whole plan has gone to shit. And you have to go somewhere else for those last 3 days. The selling part is kind of in the same window. You've got most restaurants open, 10:30, 11 ish. So you want to get in there before the lunchtime rush. That's where you want to start. And then you pretty much have until the dinner rush. You wait that lunchtime out, and then you go in 1:32. By 6 o'clock, it's kind of busy. Buyers don't want to see you, or they're gone for the day. So that's sort of the selling hours. But that doesn't really touch on events. It doesn't touch on the relationship building that comes with, like with your on-premise reps, meeting them for a beer after the workday is done, because if you're on-premise reps, with Virginia being a third-party state, a third-party distribution state right now, anyways, you have to have a distribution company that's helping you get that beer in the door. So if they don't like you, then again, you're dead in the water. So those relationships are just as important as the relationships with my accounts. Weekends are a thing. Beer festivals, we all know festival season very, very well. I mean, that pops off earlier and earlier every year, it seems. St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner. That's sort of the kickoff to when everything really starts blowing up. But on the other hand, I mean, I can only speak from my own personal experience as far as work and personal life balance. I work for an incredible company. I mean, Robbie and Chris, you guys know Robbie and Chris. Mm-hmm. They, every single sit down I have with them, every single review season, they're always, how's your work personal life balance? You know, are you taking days off for those weekends that you're out at festivals? So there's a lot of bosses out there that don't care about that balance and about being able to handle both. And I'm lucky enough to work for a company that really does. So I'm one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, and I think that comes full circle too, which is a testament to Virginia Beer Company, because if you haven't kept up with them in the past shows that we've had them on, everybody else, but I mean, it's beer, people, and purpose. So again, on an International Women's Day, when you talk about having a boss that gives a shit about you having your work family balance and your personal time and it's crazy, because you hear a lot of that not happening in this industry.
Yeah.
Or within the not just the beer world, but restaurants as well.
No, restaurants too. Yeah, absolutely.
There's no personal time. Show up or fuck off. And so I think it's great that policy or that mindset exists within the company, because like you said, Chris and Robbie are those people anyway.
They really are.
But how do you Courtney, how do you feel in an industry that is heavily male oriented?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, I love Robbie and I love BBC and I love Michael, but let's be honest, we are only talking about how do you feel about your work family balance, because we are talking about a woman in the industry.
Sure.
They don't ask that question to men because they assume that there's a woman taking care of the family. So it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. But how do you feel going and doing your sales and doing all this in an industry that is heavily male oriented? Do you think you have an advantage? Do you think that people do differently?
I think I have an advantage because I've been a bartender for so long. Because you haven't, I mean, the discrimination that you feel as a bartender, especially a female bartender, is pretty hefty. I mean, even in the beer industry, you know, I mean, I work with some amazing women at Virginia Beer Company. And, you know, there have been multiple occasions where a person, females too, they do it as well, will ask me a question about beer and I will give them an answer. And then I'll overhear them asking the same exact question to my male counterpart, because somehow I didn't give them the right answer, or I didn't know what I was talking about because I'm a cute girl behind the bar. I'm not a dude. So there's definitely those sort of experiences really helped prepare me for going out into the world and dealing with a majority male dominated, you know, buyers. Like, it's a lot of dudes running these restaurants, right? Not all of them. I've got some really awesome female partners out there that are amazing. I love them. But, you know, it sort of goes back to my point before of being able to sell yourself, not taking things personally, and just realizing that this is the world we live in. This is the industry that we're in. And it's changing for the better, slowly but surely, I hope. But you definitely get that like, are you sure you know what you're talking about kind of attitude from folks, especially when you get into the nitty gritty of how beer is made, the type of style it is, when you get into numbers and how much a person stands to make off of this keg and breaking that down. I mean, a lot of times the door just shuts and they're not listening to you. They've got it in their head that this is the way that it is and this is the way it's going to stay. So just got to brush it off and keep going, you know, because I mean, I've had a lot of really awesome female role models in the restaurant industry, in the beer industry, who are just tough as nails. And, you know, if I can emulate that, if I can continue to do that, then I think I'll make it out not too scarred.
I think you're doing just fine. Number one,
Carry the banner, girl. Carry the banner.
Yeah. It's crazy to me because you were when we were talking about having some guests on the show, you're one of the first people I thought of, only because we have a longer history together, and I've also got to somewhat be a part of your progression through this industry. So, like, you know, when we first started coming to BBC, you were my beer tender.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
The
It's
stories
been-
I could tell.
Oh, 100%. Like,
She knows a sucker when she sees one. You know,
well, duh. Yeah. I told you that any day of the week.
she's like, this guy's gonna order at least 15 beers, so we're good.
And they
And
historically to the max. So keep them flowing. Keep them
Historically accurate. No, but I think it's been a lot of fun to be, and I say this loosely, but to be a part of your journey within VBC, within the industry, because we have known each other a long time now, and to see where you started at, or where I started knowing you at versus where you are now, I think it's phenomenal.
The biggest thing for me with VBC especially is, you know, we're talking about beer people purpose, you know, our motto, our mantra for that place. And, you know, anybody who knows anything about VBC knows that we're very charity minded. We're very community minded. We want to get involved in things. And I think that's one of the reasons that I really take this job and am able to sort of let things go and really run with it, is because it's so much more than a job. It's so much more than a paycheck. I mean, you know, those folks are my family. And, you know, we watch each other's back, and we care about the things that each other cares about.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's really cool to be a woman in the beer industry and feel seen and heard on a daily basis. And that's
also VBC has like top points for diversity. Like,
yeah.
I've been there a couple of times, and the diversity in the scene and behind the scene is massive. Massive.
Yeah, they're definitely leaders for sure.
Yeah.
It's on our minds daily.
Yeah.
I've never felt mansplained.
Yeah, good. Love it.
Well, look, Vera, let me explain to you something.
I
do have a sales question, though. I want to ask Courtney. Because you're dealing with sales, and I know not every beer is the Dortmunder that just flies off the shelf.
Naturally.
What is the beer that is currently hot that you find that everyone kind of wants? What's the style that's hot right now?
Fresh powder. Oh, no. Wait.
Well, I mean, to your point, I mean, the age of the hop just does not go away. I mean, I know all beers have hops in them, but like IPAs are still king.
Always.
And I really expected that beer fad to die for the most part, you know, 3-4 years ago. It has not. So I honestly, I think Pilsners are kind of on the rise a little bit, sort of the lighter, kind of easier drinking sort of things. But I mean, you know, it wouldn't be Virginia Beer Company if we didn't talk about the beer that signs my paychecks, which is Freeverse.
Duh.
I mean, you know, Freeverse is the one. Freeverse is it. That's been our flagship IPA from day one. However, talking about Fresh Powder Light, gorgeous, is the really
Fresh
hot
Powder Light.
Fresh Powder Light. I mean, just like Fresh Powder, it's 100% Citra. It's 5.7%. Got a little touch of sweetness, you know, orange and lemon. It's our new year-round IPA. That one has been a really big hit for us. So I was
really excited to see you guys bring that in as a regular, because it is such a solid beer.
It really is, and it's the perfect counterpoint to Freeverse. It's a completely different hop profile. You know, Freeverse is Azaka and Chinook. It's tropical. It's heavier. You know, Gorgeous is just 100% Citra, light and soft. And then, I mean, everything just sort of changes. But I mean, IPAs are it. That's what everybody wants. But it's a fine line to walk, right? Because you can get burnt out too. I mean, you go into you have to have other offerings, because you walk into a bar that has 18 taps and 12 of them are IPAs. I'm not getting a Freeverse line in there unless I'm snagging one of those already IPA lines.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, so that's really it. And I think one of the things that we've really seen over the last couple of years is with COVID, with coming out of the pandemic, the buying trends, the drinking trends are changing month to month to month. And it's really hard to even keep up with what's hot and what's not at this point. What we really tried to do is really just double down on what we know we do well, the beers that we know people love, and not try to get too crazy with it. And just kind of see how this year goes. This is the first year that's felt kind of normal.
Yeah.
So far-ish. So if we can get through one normal year, then we might be able to make some moves in a different direction. But Freeverse and Gorgeous are our big bets this year. So if you haven't tried them, everybody out there in YouTube land, go find them.
Let's be honest, because I know this is a very touchy subject with Robbie, but the future of BBC lies in the pickle beer.
The pickle beer.
Oh, pickle beer.
It's true.
Michael is king of the world, and the future is Michael.
At the risk of getting demoted, I also
we're losing Courtney. We're losing her. The connection is really, really bad.
I agree with you. I loved our pickle beer. I thought it was great. Everybody, I remember sitting in the meeting talking about the pickle beer, and Jonathan, our head brewer, was basically like, so you want me to dump a shit ton of pickle brine into a beer? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And we did it, and it flew, and it's so good. So,
It's
I mean,
so
I'm
good.
vindicated.
Seriously, one of my favorite beers of all time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yes.
It's a beer that we brought into the show, saying finally a beer that we're gonna hate and we're gonna bitch about it in our
Nope.
face.
Everybody fucking
Robbie
loves it.
didn't want to come. I remember.
Every time you see Robbie, you ask him for a pint of We Can Pickle That, and let's just make his life.
I love it. I love it. Well, Courtney, we've kept you longer than we should have as well, but
This has been really fun.
it's always a pleasure to see your face and to get to chat with you. Honestly, I love where you started at BBC and where you're at now. I think it's a great role for you. And can we please get together and have a beer soon?
At Freeversary.
Oh,
Coming up.
wait, is that 7-year anniversary?
7-year anniversary. April 1st.
It's on April Fool's.
It's not a joke, I promise. Not a joke. Yeah, April 1st at the brewery, 12 to 7. We've got Cryo double Freeverse,
Wow.
Blackberry elbow patches, Mimosa Daylight. We've got our Waypost variants, our barrel-aged Imperial Stout variants coming in, speed quizzing, live music, food trucks. It's going to be a blast. Everybody do your dances to the weather gods, please.
Right.
This time of year is always so tricky with outdoor events, but yeah, definitely come see us. Check out our Facebook. The link is there to buy tickets. Just $10 for a ticket. You get a commemorative glass to take home with you. So it'll be fun.
I love it.
Great.
Thank you
Courtney.
guys so much. This was super, super fun.
Cheers. Thanks
Cheers,
for coming
Courtney.
by.
Thank you so much.
We'll
Bye,
see you
guys.
soon. Bye
See
now.
ya.
Bye. I love her. Can we keep her?
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna review this beer here in a second. If you guys get started, that's fine. But I'm gonna pee.
Okay.
All right. Well, you got 5 seconds because that's how long this clip is. So
Oh my god.
find a bottle. All right, Vero, Daniel's not here. You and I will get this started. Tonight's episode, we are celebrating International Women's Day, and we've had a freaking blast. This has been
This was
such a great.
great.
Oh my gosh, I've loved this episode. And to top it all off, we are having this beer, which I've just been sipping, going, oh my god.
It
Can't
is
wait
so
to talk
good.
We're drinking Persian Blue from Back Home Beer. This is a one-woman show making beer from Iran, and with the style of that, and oh my gosh, Vero, this beer, I can't believe that just one woman makes this beer. She throws all the cans in her Prius and drives around the
True
city
story.
and just dishes it out to everyone. Vera, you sent this to us, so you found this for us.
I
Where did
did.
you find this? Was this at where I think it
actually-
was?
Yeah, I actually found it at City Swiggers, which is the beer shop that I have here on the Upper East Side in New York. I liked, this was what caught my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I didn't know what it was. I first saw the Middle Eastern writing, and then I saw that it had blue salt. And I remember that I texted you and I was like, we've never had something like this. I'm getting this for everybody.
Yeah.
And now it's funny because when I went through the Untapped reviews, it's everywhere. People bought this everywhere in New York, like in restaurants, in bottle shops, in beer shops. It's everywhere. That Prius is working.
Oh yeah,
Kicking ass. Yeah.
getting great gas mileage on that thing.
Yeah.
I gotta say, but like Daniel, you kept hitting this home. It's like if you read her story and you know about her, like how do you not want to put her beer in your shop? Like,
Oh, 100%.
it's a fascinating story. It's so unique. You're not going to find anything like this anywhere. So I'm really looking forward to see what happens with her in the near future because I'm sure she's already blowing up.
Oh, she catch it on somewhere. She won't be contract brewing much longer.
No, we had our one chance ever on the show and we lost it. Like after this, she's gone.
I mean, I blew that. That's on me.
All right, Vero, why don't you take it off? Why don't you start?
It's funny because it actually, the first 2 sips, it reminded me of the pickle beer without the acidity.
Interesting.
It's lightly like very lightly salty, but it has for me, it has like a creamy finish that I enjoy very much. It smells like plain good old beer, nothing weird, but the taste is really salty.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But creamy. I don't know what it is. For me, it's clean, it's light. It has a very, very good flavor. I'm gonna give it like a 4.75.
Nice. And I'll go next because I do want to touch on what you said, which is interesting to me because palates are different, flavors are different for different people. This was actually like my first 2 sips were creamier, like you mentioned, but I got way more salt out of the back end of the beer. Like by the time I was done with it, I was like, oh, this is salty. Like this is like not salty like the like abrasive flavor of salt, but like crisp or so it was weird. That came later in the beer for me. Like you said, color wise, smell wise, it's an extremely clean beer on both aspects there. I do get a lot of salt towards the end of it, which is fun, and it is a different flavor. It's not like salt, like whatever this Persian Blue stuff is. I gotta find because I've been doing the wrong bath salts. No, but I really enjoy this.
I assure you, this is not kosher salt.
No. Good Lord, no. Jewish people want nothing to do with this beer.
Yeah.
I dig this. It's solid, clean, easy, really crispy. I could drink 10 more of these. So it's a 4.25 for me.
Nice. I'm right here. The creaminess was what hit me really hard first, and I was like, it was so unexpected.
Unexpected.
It was so unexpected, but it was so good. It was, and then I think our Dortmunder had salt in it too, which I remember the saltiness made you want to keep drinking more.
Right.
I'm getting that same thing here with this, where it's like, I'm drinking it, but it's funny because the creaminess shouldn't have that effect. A creamy beer, normally you're like, oh, I've had one, I'm kind of good.
Right, it's mouth coating.
The mix of the creamy with the salty, it's like it's creamy, so it's delicious, but then you still want to keep drinking it. I'm a huge fan of a 12-ounce can for this beer.
Yep.
I would buy this in a 12-pack easily. This could be like a beer that I would just want in my fridge all the time. It's a great, solid beer.
And all of your beers are this size because they had different ones, which I am going to go now. I'm going to buy and I'm going to send them to you guys. They are all this size.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that, she chose that size either based off of a financial reason or, sometimes you can probably fit more in a Prius. Let's be honest.
There you go.
Sometimes it's just pure production based.
Yeah. Vera, I don't know does she sell them in 4-packs or 6-packs? Because that's, do you remember?
Well, actually, they have them like
they're
loose.
all individual.
Loose.
Individual, yeah.
Because that would be interesting because this is definitely a 6-pack beer to me.
Oh, absolutely. At least.
Yeah. It's one of those you could just sip watching a game and just keep drinking all night.
I see Tiffany's review on the chat, so.
Oh, we have what?
I see Tiffany's review on the chat.
Yeah, go ahead, Phil. Finish yours.
Oh, no. What's Tiffany say?
She just said that the beer is phenomenal. 4.75. Damn it. Touch of salt is amazing. Agreed.
Yeah, it's really good.
So 4.75 from Vero, 4.75 from Tiffany, 4.25 from me. Go ahead, Phil.
For me, I think I'm all about a uniqueness. I even though it's a lager, it's so different, and so for me, I'm going 4.75 on this as well. I think
Nice.
it's fast. I think it's phenomenal.
Nice.
What is that?
Gonna make our show score 4.75.
4.75.
It is.
There we go.
Yeah. Killer.
Yeah, killer score on this.
Yeah, well done, Zahra. Hopefully we can have you on the show sooner rather than later and actually get a chance to talk with you about it.
Yeah, maybe when Vero gets us the other ones, we can also bring her back on to talk about some of the other ones. Because I'd love to try some of her other stuff.
Well, Gabriel's an asshole.
No, Gabriel has it. Gabriel has it.
I know he does, but look, I want more up front on this one. Tell that to your wife. Two can play this game, Gabriel.
Don't give him a head start. In the Wish You Were Beer section.
All right.
That's our next session. We got to do it.
I said it.
We're running long. All right, so if you're unfamiliar with the show, this is the portion where we're going to take a second to reflect on something we wish was beer versus what it actually is. Pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to let Phil go first and expound on it a little bit.
Sure. So my wish you were beer this week, I already talked about this earlier, this music festival we got going on here in St. Martin. I wish that music festivals and concerts in general were beer. Because I can get a beer at any time of day that I feel like. I don't have to stay up late to watch it. I don't know if you saw that Jamie Lee Curtis interview that she did where she was like, why are all shows late at night? Why are we not getting matinee concerts? And I'm like, I'm with you. I'll bring out my yogurt. I'll eat it with you. And then we'll see a concert at 2 p.m. So that's my thing. This music festival is here and I'd love to go, but I'm not going to see someone at 3 a.m. So
not hurting my feelings.
But 3 a.m. I'll have a beer. But I could also have that beer at 3 in the afternoon because it's beer. So I wish it was beer.
I got your back, Phil. I understand this one. Yeah. All right. So Andrew wishes colds and illness were beer because then they'd be fully stocked at home. Tiffany, ditto. I'm exhausted.
Andrew and Katie are now living in a petri dish.
And also agreed, that is the oldest thing you've ever said on this show, Phil.
Yeah.
I wish concerts were beer because 3 in the morning.
Yeah. But think about it. I'll go see Beyonce at 2 in the afternoon.
I'll see Beyonce anytime she wants to see me.
I want to see her at 7 in the morning and see if she really wakes up like this.
Yeah.
She wakes up, and that's all that matters because that is worth it. All right. I'll go next, Vera. I'm going to save you for last because I assume yours
closing it out.
Yeah, I assume yours is baller. Mine's really easy. I also, similar to Tiffany and Andrew, excuse me, Andy, I wish sleep was beer. Because it's pretty
story, Grandpa.
It's pretty easy for me to get 6 to 8 beers a night if I wanted to, but 6 to 8 hours of sleep is real hard to come by. So I just wish sleep was beer for that reason.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay, so
wait, before you close it out, let's get Gabriel's.
Oh.
I wish cargo shorts were beer, then enjoying them in public would be more socially acceptable.
True story.
Oh, you live in a different place than me. You can drink in public down here anytime you want.
No, you also live in a different place. You just don't give rat's ass. That's
that does help.
Just so you know.
Gabriel lives in Maine, so come on, dude. You're wearing cargo shorts next to every single other person wearing cargo shorts.
Yeah. And that's only to carry your lobsters around.
Yeah. And it's 5 feet of snow outside, and any guy who lives in Maine is out there in cargo shorts.
All right, Vera, what do you got for us?
There we go. So it's International Women's Month. I wish mammograms were beer.
Ooh.
First of all,
Vero, will you dumb it down for me?
Yeah, so this is the study of
boobies.
mammals.
Mammals.
Right.
Oh,
It's the study of the boobies.
oh, my favorite study.
Don't throw the show off course.
Yeah, because you never had one.
physically had one or had one.
Yeah, I assume you're talking about boobs, and no, I've never. No.
Were had by men, somebody would have already devised a painless procedure, probably serving you a beer while you're having it.
Fair.
So yesterday I had to have one.
Yeah.
Spend 3 hours there. And if mammograms were beer, I would have had 3 hours that would have been happy hours. As opposed to literally crying my eyes out in pain.
Oof.
So come on, medicine, you should do better by women.
Medicine do better.
Yeah.
Kevin says he's got moves.
Yeah, we know, Kevin.
Yeah, we know, Kevin.
We saw what size sweatshirt you bought.
Gabriel said, "I'll take your mammogram and raise you a prostate exam." But prostate exams are fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a joy.
Gabriel. Yeah.
I keep going to my doctor for another one. He's like,
Right,
dude,
like,
stop coming back for
my
these.
butt still hurts. Do you mind taking a second?
None of you have had a prostate exam.
Not by a doctor.
I've 100% had a prostate exam. And historically, prostate cancer runs in my family, so I started getting them at 30. However, licensed doctor? No.
By a doctor.
Oh, by a doctor. Hold on. No, one of them had a doctorate in psychology.
Yeah, one of them had a printed out thing above his desk, and I just assumed doctor.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
Slap those gloves on and let's get to work.
No.
All right.
Oh, gloves. All right.
Yeah, I play it safe.
Oh, okay.
I'm healthy. I'd like to stay that way.
Look, I can't feel the fingerprints that way.
That finger could have been on a nose.
All right, we got another beer next week. Do you know that?
Yeah, what are we doing next week? I'd like
I'm
to know.
excited. I know where this one is. We are going straight from a very delicious, tasty, easy to drink. I could have 6 of them lagers, and now we're switching it up, and we're going latte milk stout.
Oh no, I love that.
Oh, we haven't had a dark beer in a while.
Yeah,
We
I
haven't
love
had a
that.
dark one in a while. This is Milk Truck from Mother Earth Brew Company.
Mhm.
I actually found this one in a Trader Joe's. So if
Yeah.
anyone is looking for the beer to have on the show next week, you might be able to find it there. I found this one in a California Trader Joe's, which Trader Joe's tends to find the beers locally. So you might not be able to find this one because I'm going to assume that it is made in California, Vista, California. So good luck. But I'm excited. I picked this one out because one, we haven't done as many dark stouts in a while, and I love a latte stout.
Yep, I'm a big fan as well. So
Yeah.
And also, it's our pre-St. Patrick's Day beer. So
True.
that tracks.
it checks out. Yeah, I
This
got it.
says it has vanilla, coffee, lactose, and oats in it. So I'm excited.
Should be good.
Oh, it's a
We're doing
pie.
And it's another 12-ouncer.
I love it. We should just
So-
seek out 12-ounce cans so we can drink more on the show.
Yeah. Good plan.
Well, some people have plans.
Right? Goals.
Goals, if you will. That being said, thank you everybody for stopping by and hanging out with us tonight. Again, happy International Women's Day, a day late, but so that we can celebrate it on the show. Do me a favor, if you know a woman in any industry or you have a mother, go hug their fucking neck. Go tell them you're proud of them because they do amazing work. And we'd be in a lot of trouble without them. So please don't take that lightly. Make sure you come back next week, Thursday, 8:00 Eastern time, just like we do every week. We're going to have a new beer. We're going to hang out. We're going to obviously have some trivia. We may even have a guest. I don't know yet.
I want to give a shout out to Tiffany, who is braving work, children, fiance, wedding, and coughing her lungs out, and she keeps doing it. So
True story.
Yeah. But Vero, Daniel didn't know that she had a fiance. So
Yeah, awkward to find out live.
Oh, sorry. Baby, you're a pretty side dish. We love you.
Kira, I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
Also, thank you to Rachel and Courtney for coming on the show
Yes.
tonight.
Yeah.
Just awesome details. It was so cool to have two people who work in such a different area of the beer industry. I think so many of us think, it's like, oh, I want to go into the beer world. I got to be a brewer. And it's like, God, there's so many other things that you could do to join that industry. And to hear those stories was fascinating. So thank you to them for coming.
Daniel's here now? No?
Okay.
Oh, he took the hat off.
He's letting it grow for the wedding. So he can have a
beautiful.
little pretty updo.
Now I'm just letting it grow because I'm only getting older. So I might as well enjoy it while I got it.
Doesn't Wayne have a full head? Wayne's gorgeous.
Wayne thins a little bit.
Hey.
Poorly on Wayne.
We'll be fine. Everybody will be fine. So,
all right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Follow us on social, like and subscribe, share. We'd love it if you shared this episode, especially around, because this was an important episode for us. I felt like it was the most educational one we've had in a while. And come back next week for our same shenanigans, where we drink a latte stout. And we'll see y'all on Thursday.
Yep.
I'll be a cat.
Support.